Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll yield myself as much time as I may consume. I rise in support of the underlying bill and my amendment, which would include a candidate's immediate family members to those whose direct or indirect contacts or communications with a foreign national may amount to a reportable foreign contact. I also think it's very fitting that we are doing this legislation in the same week that we will honor Oversight Chairman Elijah Cummings, someone who I have had the privilege of not only working with but being represented by when I was a law student in Baltimore. But Elijah and I, the gentleman from Maryland, worked to write the Protect Our Democracy Act immediately after the Russian interference campaign. Every member of the Democratic caucus and members from the Republican caucus signed on to that. I still believe that's the best way to address what the Russians did in 2016 and to harden our systems so they don't do it again. But I believe that this effort, the SHIELD Act, led by Chairwoman Zoe Lofgren, will go a very, very long way to protecting our elections, and I thank the Chairwoman for her leadership in this effort. American elections should be decided by Americans. Ms. Lofgren's bill will go a long way to stopping secret foreign attempts to influence our democracy, as we saw in 2016. We know that as a part of Russia's attack on us, it purchased social media advertisements. 3,500 advertisements on political or public policy topics were purchased using rubles. To combat this conduct, I've introduced in May H.R. 2853, the Corporate Duty to Report Act. Part of my bill would require companies distributing political communications, including social media companies, to take the small but important step of at least asking if the purchaser is a foreign national. I thank Chairwoman Lofgren for including this concept in the SHIELD Act. We also learned in June 2016 that Donald Trump Jr. said over email that the Russian government was offering official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary and her dealings with Russia, which was, quote, part of Russia and its government's support for Trump. Don Jr. replied in part, quote, if it's what you say, I love it, especially later this summer, end quote. Then he accepted the offer of assistance. He told a lot of people about the offer, including his brother-in-law and the chairman of the campaign, had a meeting around the offer, but he never told law enforcement. This is a part of the honor code that most candidates in America follow. It's just the right thing to do. Unfortunately, Donald Trump Jr.'s conduct highlights that we have to take parts of the honor code that good people usually just follow and codify them into law. I wrote the Duty to Report Act last Congress with Senator Richard Blumenthal, who sponsored it in the Senate, which also would include immediate family members, not just of the candidate to tell law enforcement, but the parent, parent-in-law, spouse, adult child, or sibling. I'm afraid that someone like Don Jr., who didn't have an official role in the Trump campaign, would not be included in the SHIELD Act as written, and that is the reason I'm offering this amendment. And for now, I will ask for support on my amendment and reserve the balance of my time.